Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome. Today is Monday. It's November 28th, 2022. My name is Jeremy. This is my first cup. That is really warm. I want to say good morning to all of you who's here. Good morning, Mark, Frank, Nathan, Liz, Brian, Jenny, and all the rest of you, whether you're watching now at 6:30 while I'm doing it, or maybe you're watching sometime later. Maybe you're not a morning person, or maybe you woke up late. If you get the chance to join us live sometime, I hope you do. We have a lot of fun. How was your weekend? What did you do? Many of you know what I did, and I'm still recovering from it, but it was a good time. Those might not be the right words, but I'm glad I did it anyway. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about today's episode of Martial Arts Radio, and of course, we, as always, have some stuff to talk about courtesy of Frank. Thank you, Frank. But let's start with the weekend. What was your weekend like? What did you do? What happened? And if you don't have anything there, what's coming up today that you're looking forward to? What's going on Monday that has you excited to be out of bed? And if the answer is nothing, I would encourage you to keep looking. There's always a reason. There's always something good. Good morning to you, Stacy. So my big thing over the weekend, I was sitting right there on that side of the couch Friday at like 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And I thought, weather's going to be decent tomorrow. I should go for a hike. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. It's time to go hike in Eden. Eden is a town in Vermont that had a mountain that I tried to hike about 15 years ago, and it did not go well. My personal Facebook page has the full story. I'm not going to recount the story because most of you follow me there, so I'm not going to run through the whole thing. But it was just so clear that that's what I needed to do, and so I did. I said, okay. Figured out the time, figured out how long it was going to take, and I did it. And it almost didn't go well again. It almost was another disaster. It was almost a disaster in the same spot it was the first time. But that actually wasn't the only point where it was almost a disaster, but it went fine. I made it out. I'm alive. I am uninjured. I am sore. Man, are my calves sore. It's the longest hike I think I've ever done. Almost 8 miles. I don't think I've ever hiked 8 miles before. And the fact that I hiked 8 miles tells me, hey, my body's in much better shape now than it was back then or even a few years ago for hiking. So that's kind of cool. What did you do this weekend? Jenny made turkey glaze. Most of the Thanksgiving leftovers are gone now. She also caught a cold. I'm so sorry to hear that. Frank says, Jeremy, you're a bundle of ambition. Well, thank you. I don't like leaving things unfinished. That's really the heart of it. Stacy had Friendsgiving on Saturday. Yesterday was Recovery Day. The only Friendsgiving I was invited to this year was on Free Training Day. Free Training Day Northeast. And I wanted to go because it's newer friends. And I was really thankful they invited me. I was like, oh, I can't go. But thanks. They're like, oh, sorry you can't come. I would have gone. Would have been great. But it's okay. Mark says the leftovers are gone. Time for Christmas decorations. I'm thinking about getting a tree. But maybe not, because I'm not going to be around to enjoy it as much. Probably not. Maybe I'll hang ornaments on that rubber tree. There's a rubber tree over there. Or perhaps the avocado, the larger avocado. There's a big avocado tree right there. Who knows? What else did I do this weekend? Not much. Saturday was all preparing, going to the hike, coming back, decompressing from the hike, sitting down. You know, something I'm watching on TV that I spent a bunch of time watching that some of you may enjoy. It's on HBO Max, and it's Pennyworth, and it's the story of Alfred Pennyworth, Batman's butler. And the guy who plays it, I don't know if this is intentional or it's just a wonderful coincidence. He speaks with the same cadence as Michael Caine does when he plays Alfred in the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy. And he is my favorite Alfred. I love Michael Caine. I think Michael Caine is an absolutely wonderful actor. And so to kind of feel like you're watching young Michael Caine is pretty cool. The story is very well done. It is not what I would have expected. But if you are at all into Batman, you should check it out. Jenny says that her son helped pull out all the decorations. She'll be working on those this week. Good morning, Gad. What do Christmas decorations look like for all of you? How crazy do you get? Is it a tree? Is it all on the tree? Is it more than the tree? Is it the outside of the house? The top of the house? The yard? How crazy do you get? How much does your electric bill go up because of Christmas decorations? There's a good question. Oh. What am I doing today? So today's Monday, so it's a meeting day. This is a short week. I fly out on Wednesday. And just a reminder, flying out for a conference. I will be in Florida for a little while. My first official day back is the 12th. I have no reason to believe I won't be able to do First Cup, but if that changes, I will let you know. I did get some messaging can go. Some people reporting that in the past they've left the venue 1, 2, even 3 o'clock in the morning. If that becomes a consistent thing, we'll bag First Cup. But as of right now, I am planning to do First Cup every day, so do not worry. Gad says that he read somewhere that is the prequel to Gotham, the TV series, to Sean Pertwee's Alfred. Maybe it's just the actors and the way they play it, but that is not, it's not how it comes across. I will say stylistically, it is closer to Gotham. Frank says, this weekend was not as busy as last weekend at the store. I went to the park both Saturday and Sunday. Awesome. I hope that was nice. We had some decent weather. We had 40 degrees both Saturday and Sunday. Of course, on the dark side of a mountain, a few thousand feet up, it was not 40 degrees. And there was plenty of snow. Not too much snow. It's not like it was up to my hips, but it was definitely up over my boots quite a bit of the time. My feet could not have been more wet by the time I finished my hike. Jenny says we will have a tree and lights and window decorations for the balcony doors. I also have a bunch of garland, knickknacks, bows, and candles to decorate the rest of the apartment. It never looks the same in here twice. Oh, that's fun. Stacy says, don't get me going on the tree. My mother's collection of ornaments is significant enough that I have them on a rider for the house. Wow. Sometimes I put the whole tree up and sometimes not. That's a lot of ornaments. It takes a full day to get them all on the tree, decorating from the inside out. Whew. She's not sure if she's doing it this year or not. That's a lot of decor. That's a lot of decoration. I have a very small box. of decorations. All gifts. I don't think I've bought any myself. Most of which get hung with bent paper clips. Because it's not that serious for me. I appreciate the Christmas spirit that a lot of people have. There's a tone to this time of year, and mostly over the couple weeks beforehand, where people aren't working as much. They're not working as hard, most of them. And the whole world, my whole world, not the whole world, my whole world, it seems like people are aware that there's more going on than the rest of the year, right? Most of the rest of the year, it's work, and we find these little gaps to get together or socialize or something. But the rest of the time, but Christmas time, people are like, yeah, I can leave early. Yeah, it's Friday, stuff like that. And I enjoy that. Jenny says she'll have a much smaller tree this year because I wanted to buy a new couch earlier this year. So everyone had a space to sit. I had to put the couch where we usually put the tree. We are going to have to get creative this year. Stacy has enough that years ago she used to do her tree and decorate a local restaurant's tree and dining area. Wow. She adds Dennis would be in heaven. Kelly says that Andrew put out their outside decorations yesterday. It has begun. She likes to decorate. I'm glad it's meaningful. Not everyone finds it meaningful. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you all find some joy in there. Dennis says, I told Sarah that I'm her Christmas present. She asked me what the return terms were. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Well, here's a question. How do we relate Christmas to martial arts? How about we take Stacy's comment about having so many decorations? Now, there comes a point where it becomes too much, right? If we decorated every square inch, it would become too much. There's a balance. There's a point where, it varies for everyone, but there's a balance between, okay, this looks like a good amount of decor. This looks like too much. This is not enough. Pardon. And I think we can say the same thing about elements of martial arts. There are schools that have so many forms that people need a list to remember their names and the order and the sometimes they end up just numbered, or techniques or combinations. Some martial arts systems have an obsession with memorization and let's do these bajillion techniques. I think there's a sweet spot, and I'm not going to say where it is because it varies depending on what you want people to take away. You need usually more than one, more than two. You don't need 500. You know what I mean? Gad says, our Christmas tree is a small one on top of the cupboard. A real Christmas tree in the living room wouldn't survive 1 minute with Sunny and Sky, our dogs, as they think everything is a toy for them. Like that. Stacy says, it's not my holiday per se, but it's my time with Mom when she was at her best. I like that. She says, and it was always just the tree. Well, Frank did send some stuff over. I want to thank Frank, as always. It's nice that we have him in the chat. And I want to thank Josh for our theme song. Got a feeling he's lurking in the background somewhere. He often is. And so, Barbie, I'm going to yawn, and then we'll switch over. And boom, 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 boom. Nope. Oh, I did the opposite of what I wanted to do because I'm not fully awake. Let's try again. Here we go. Then we go over here. So yesterday, November 27th, was World Martial Arts Day. Isn't there two of these? I feel like we had one of these not long ago. It was also Bruce Lee's birthday. If he were alive, he would have been 82. You know what I'm going to say before we... Actually, I'll say that after. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. If you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle and it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. One of his most famous quotes, and I think people misunderstand, at least, maybe I shouldn't say misunderstand it because that assumes I understand it better. I don't know that people fully embrace the elegance of this statement. Water is whatever it needs to be, not necessarily what you want it to be. The water is subjected to the cup and the teapot and the bottle. The water does not determine the conditions of which, whether it's in a lazy river or crashing down a waterfall. Water is infinitely adaptable. You can't destroy water. You can freeze it and break it, but that doesn't change anything about it. You can boil it and it can turn to steam. It'll come back eventually. Water is infinite. And it is something that I think we should strive to do in terms of being adaptable. There are times when things do not go our way. The more energy we devote to fighting against them is wasted. It's all wasted. If you're... I'm trying to come up with an example because there's always a way to change the circumstances. But there are so many people who spend a lot of time just complaining. Remove yourself from the situation. If you can't, ride it out. Make the best of it. I continue to find it interesting, and this is not because of any personal feelings on the man. Elon Musk bought Twitter, right? I think most of us, we all know that. And I check in on Twitter once in a while, mostly professionally, but because Elon Musk's threads are the most commented ones, Twitter tends to show those to me. And I saw one, and it was started by Stephen King making a comment. He's been incredibly vocal on Twitter and I follow him because, Mainers. He's been incredibly vocal as a critic, which is totally fine. His criticisms are not without merit. But why are we criticizing someone who just started doing something? It's like yelling at a yellow belt for not getting it. They stay with it, they'll figure it out. This man has a track record of figuring it out. Give him a shot. Let him have some time. We don't do well with that in the West anymore. Gaz relating Christmas to martial arts, candy cane fighting, and a throwing star on top of the tree. Ooh, I like it. And Kelly's right there with Stacy on the Christmas ornaments. I can't put them all up. My mom buys all of us a new ornament every year. We have enough just with those. I also like to buy an ornament when we go on vacation. That's cool. Tommy says he has a lot of friends that study Jeet Kune Do. They come teach at the club too when visiting. That's awesome. All right, next. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. We've all heard this one. And this relates to what I was saying earlier. How many techniques do we need? How many forms do we need? If we all admit that this is true, if we accept this, that the more persistent you are, the more disciplined you are with training a certain thing, the better you'll be able to use that thing. Then my comment is that anything that is taught, now I'm not saying this isn't, well, listen to the whole thing. If we're talking about a school that is committed to the concept of their students being effective in a real world confrontation, and they are so committed to this idea that they disparage others, that they hold it up as a standard, that this is what we do, then anything that they teach that would not be generally considered effective in a real world confrontation is wasteful, and it slows the progress. So if that school says, here are the 10 techniques that you are going to need to know, and they're going to cover 95% of what you would need on the street, they're doing their students a disservice training that last 5. In fact, if it's 51 and 49, they're doing their students a disservice, right? Now, of course, this is not what I believe, because I think there are plenty of reasons to train various things. But there is something really true here. And we should spend the majority of our time training things that are most versatile. This is why I talk about versatility of a martial artist. A diverse martial artist is generally a more versatile martial artist. But it doesn't mean there isn't value. I like doing a jump spinning crescent kick. It's fun. Not going to do it on the street. Not going to do it probably in competition. I don't see the need. There are things that are more effective. So I will do those things. More tea. Good stuff. All right. And our last one for the day. Before we do that, we have an episode of Martial Arts Radio. Let's see if it's there. And we can talk about it briefly. Bump, 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 bump. Library, your videos. I don't know why I had to look for this one. This is kind of a big one. Don Wilson. Don the Dragon Wilson's episode comes out today. It's already out. It's out now. And I had a great time talking with him. He stirred the pot a little bit. Which I found entertaining. I think you will find it entertaining. He's a good man. I'm glad he came on the show. And I hope you enjoy it. Stacy says, you mean we shouldn't spend hours on a waving kick? I don't know what that is, but probably not. I don't know if that's a difference in terminology or if that's a kick. I just don't know. Or maybe you're making it up. Absorb what is useful. Discard what is not. Add what is uniquely your own. Every martial artist is different. What you should be training should reflect that, because your physical body, place in the world, you're slightly unique. That combination has become slightly unique at minimum. So for you to train what other people train exactly or how they train it exactly, probably not a good idea. Probably not the best choice, but that's okay. You have the right to train however you want to train. When I started doing Taekwondo, people could tell that I grew up in karate. It didn't matter what I did. I moved like a karateka. I still do. So when people ask me, oh, you do martial arts, what kind? I just say all of them. And sometimes they'll press me. maybe because they train or they have trained. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you're really going to force me to pick a label, I would generically say karate. But I say it because of that, because that's what I started with. And my theory is that whatever you start training in becomes your kind of your language. Whatever I train relates back to my karate movement. I might do it differently. It's like, oh, it's like this, but I do it this way, right? So it becomes that language. That's why I say that. Gad says, pushing the limit, discovering what you can do and being creative helps you to be more versatile when it comes to it in a, quote, street fight or in a verbal altercation even. Yeah. Mark's reminding us of this Bruce Lee line, it's like a finger pointing to the moon. And Tommy says, putting the art back into martial. This way it becomes your own and balance. Yeah. Make it your own. Don't try to paint what somebody else painted. Make your own painting. You can be celebrated for being really good at copying something, but we don't generally hold a lot of value in that. The people that we find the most valuable, the people that we hold up as experts or celebrities, they generally have their own contributions. It is quite often what they do or how they do it or why they do it. There's always something that makes them a little bit unique. And I find that interesting because so many people want to follow in certain paths and they want the same results by doing the same thing, but it's never going to work that way. With the younger generation, they want to be famous. And quite often they want to be famous by doing the exact same things that they see other people getting famous for. There will never be another Mr. Beast, someone I've become enamored with. He does absolutely insane stuff, and I think it's super cool. There will never be another, I don't know, pick famous person. You can't get there on the same road. The road they travel, trying to come up with an analogy. You got to do your own thing. Mimicry may be a compliment, but we don't generally value it. We want the original piece of art. We want to go to the concert. We want an autographed copy of the book. We want unique, original, real. We don't value duplications nearly as much. Be you. Do your forms your way. Do your techniques your way. Spar your way. Train for your reasons. Be you. Be the martial artist you are. Nobody else can. If you want to support the work we do here at Whistlekick, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/Whistlekick starts at $2 a month. Tremendous value in there. Use the code FIRSTCUP15 to save 15% on something like maybe a First Cup mug at whistlekick.com. And if you want everything that you could do to help us in our mission, go to the family page, whistlekick.com/family. We do the show every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And you can follow us on those platforms and a whole bunch of others. We are at Whistlekick. I hope you have a great day. I hope you check out that episode of Don Wilson. I hope you like it. If you do me a favor, share it with others. This is a big episode for us. So your help in sharing it around would be really appreciated. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.